Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to another session of ours. We're going to introduce to you our latest partner from UK and one of the prestigious Russell Group of Universities, Cardiff University. But the reason I am particularly excited about this program, about this session, is because the person who I'm going to speak with we actually go back more than 12 years, and we know each other for a very, very long time. He's a veteran of the industry, has traveled to all the different countries, have traveled to all the different corners of Bangladesh with me. And we have, so many great memories, recruiting great students from Bangladesh. Dave, how are you doing? Or Dai?
Good, yeah. Very good, very good. Hope you can hear me all right.
We can hear you perfect, and I love the tree behind you. It's Christmas season, so you're spreading a bit of Christmas cheer.
I hope you noticed I've even got a little cricketer on here.
A cricketer Santa, it seems.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So how have you been? I mean, how's the weather there? I'm sitting in Toronto. It's freezing outside.
Oh, right, yeah. It's probably not as cold as there, but it's actually the temperature's dropped, so it has been a bit chilly, and we've had some wintry weather of late, even a little bit of snow here and there. But it's about 5 degrees, so it's quite chilly outside, but we've got winter wonderland right in the center of campus at the moment. So there's lots of like Christmas lights and events and lots of Christmas stalls and things. So it's feeling very festive, if not a little bit chilly.
Wow, nice. I mean, the students can really go out and enjoy the Christmas market and all that. The way but do I call you Day because your name is David, but I guess your Welsh name is Day or Dai?
Yeah,
Ah.
you can call me David or Di. I accept both with equal glee.
Awesome. No, we'll call you by the Welsh name. You're representing a Welsh university, so
Fabulous.
absolutely Dai. So, the way we usually do this is you're going to, of course, showcase the university through a presentation. Our students can find out more about the university, and then we will get to a few questions that students might have. Is that okay?
Perfect. Yeah.
So, can't wait. I'm going to pull up the presentation right away, and you can start, sir.
Brilliant. So yeah, thank you ever so much for joining today. Like Rouham said, it's a real pleasure to be working with him and Mace as we go back a really long way. And I have traveled all over your lovely country a number of times, and I'm really, really looking forward to coming back in January as well. So today I'm just going to give you an overview generally of the university. In this front screen here, you can see, oh, it's mentioned January programs, but I'm going to talk about all programs. You can see the architecture of our university. We've got some really beautiful buildings. So when you're at the university, it really does feel like a place of tradition and history, and there are hundreds of years of education behind us, and you can really feel that as a student. So you may be studying in one of these grand, beautiful buildings. This is what we call the Glamorgan building. This is where some of our social science programs, things like education, sociology, and also some of our geography programs are based. But we've got lots of schools, as you will see, as we're one of the larger universities in the UK. I think in terms of size, we're probably the 13th largest, something like that. But we're certainly the largest in Wales, in the western part of the UK. We've got 24 schools altogether, and I'll show you the list of them later. But we break them down into 3 colleges. So arts, humanities, social science, biomedical and life sciences, and physical sciences and engineering. So there's hundreds of programs for you to choose from. In fact, it's probably easier for me to tell you what we don't have than what we do have. So what we don't have, if you want to be a veterinary scientist or a vet, or medical practitioner, it's not the place for you. Although we do have zoology, so our students do have access to lots of different animals. And we don't do drama. So if you want to be an actor, that's not for you, but we do music. All right. And then lastly, we don't have really many, if any, visual arts. So if you want to be a fine artist or a graphic designer or something of that type, we don't have that. Although we do have architecture and one of the best architecture schools in the world, but I'll explain about that. Okay. Our ranking is really good. As a Russell Group university, many of our programs are ranked in the top 5 or top 10 in the UK. And I'll highlight some of the specific programs. And you can just see on the right-hand side there, a few more of the wonderful buildings and facilities we have. Actually, I'm really proud of my office. So my office, see that little window with all the red staircases? That's where the international office is. So if you do end up joining Cardiff, do come and say hello. The building is called Spark. So, like I said, we spend a lot of money on the university because we're a part of the Russell Group. For those of you who aren't aware of the Russell Group is a group of 24 research-intensive universities. You'll know many of the names like Oxford, Cambridge, King's, Manchester, Birmingham, and also, of course, Cardiff. And we attract some of the best academics, professors, lecturers, researchers from all over the world. And what that means is we also attract a lot of research funding. So our facilities, the buildings, and the people who teach you tend to be the best of the best. So there's some real benefits to studying at a Russell Group university. And many of in terms of our research ranking, we're really, really high. So generally top 11, top 12 in the UK for research impact and research output. All right. So these are some of the programs that are quite famous with us. Some of the ones that are more popular in Bangladesh tend to be things like business, law, engineering, computer science, data sciences, even journalism, media, culture, things like that. But we're really highly ranked in a lot of different areas, particularly in anything to do with the body, medicine, or the brain, or any biosciences, psychology as well, neuroscience. We're top in the UK for things like, or one of the top universities in the UK for things like ophthalmics and architecture. So there's many different programs that you can choose from, and ones that we're very highly ranked for. Our programs are quite flexible. So within your degrees, you tend to, most programs, not all, will have a range of optional modules. So you can build and mix and match modules, a little bit like Lego, to build your own degree, really based on what you want to do as a career in the future. Also, we offer different types of work placements, year in industry, professional placements, trainings, and we invite lots of high-level people from all different fields into the classroom to also deliver some of your programs. So it's not unusual, even for some programs at the postgraduate level, to do a full placement year. So that would make it kind of 2 years. And many of these years are paid placements. So you would apply to study with us and get the visa for the 2 years, and also perhaps and potentially be even paid for that year in work experience. But if you don't want to do a year, we can also offer short term from anywhere from 2 weeks up to a kind of semester. So the degrees are very flexible and very kind of career focused. We have a lot of pride in our ability to place students in good jobs. That's one of the primary motivations for our students, is to get a good career. And we do this by, of course, like I said, embedding that element into all of your programs. So we'll be talking about which modules to take, what you should be really focusing on earlier in your program. But we also have a centralized department called Student Futures, where you can take smaller modules, and get advice related to meeting future employers, getting work experience and going to careers fairs. They'll help you with your CV. They'll help you with interview techniques and cover letters and things like that. And they even offer some volunteering opportunities, and there's even some funding for students in certain situations as well, particularly if you're interested in setting up your own business. So, of course, many of our students don't necessarily want to go and work for big companies. Some of them want to start up their own companies, and we support students in doing that by offering them different types of virtual, online, and face-to-face educational tools, and also in some case some funding, provided they've put together a really strong business case. We're 12th in the UK currently for employability. So we're really well regarded by many of the best employers, not just within the UK, but globally. And our students do go on to do wonderful things all over the world. And actually, if you jump on our website, we've got a really strong section related to our alumni, and particularly the 30-ish awards, where we celebrate some of our more recent graduates who've gone on to do some amazing things. And we have those awards every year, and it's really inspiring to see our students going out into the world and working in some of the most interesting places on the planet, and really stamping their mark. And 88% of our international graduates are generally employed or within further study within sort of a year and a half of graduation. All right. So we put a lot of emphasis on this. And here are some of the companies in recent times that employ our students in quite high numbers. Also, they come into the classroom, of course, depending on whichever courses you're based on. So I'm just really trying to emphasize here that we try and put our students in the best possible place, and put them in front of all these amazing companies and employers all throughout the academic year, so that they can get the job of their dreams. All right. We spend a lot of money on our campus. You'll notice that compared to many other of the Russell Group universities in the UK, our campus is quite unique. It's very different, actually. So you'll see that this building with the lovely pillars, that's our Centre for Student Life. That's really the beating heart of the university. That's where you come and ask any questions, no matter what they are. It could be related to your program, your accommodation. It could be that you're wanting some advice or counseling, or you've got some concerns about health or well-being. It could be that you want to do an internship or study abroad or learn a second language. All of this is dealt with in one place at Cardiff University. So you don't have to run around different schools, different departments in dark and dingy corridors trying to knock on doors that are locked to find out what you need to know. At Cardiff, it's all in one place. One of the things that is really unique about Cardiff, and why I love it so much, is that in the UK, there are generally two types of university. So the first is a campus university. So you have a defined campus, and campus universities in the UK, by and large, they tend to be outside of the city, maybe in a slightly quieter area where there's more space to expand and what have you. Then you have the second type of university, which is a city university. You may be aware of many of the city universities in the UK, like King's or Oxford. And if you walk around London or Oxford and say, oh, where is King's or where is Oxford, people will point you just at buildings in different places, because that's what a city university is. They're just a grouping of buildings in and around a city. Cardiff, bizarrely, is both. So we are in the middle of a city, but we are very much a defined campus. So all of the buildings, all of the facilities, the gyms, the Students' Union, main building, our libraries, accommodation, they're all very close together, bunched together around a lovely big park and surrounded by a park with a river through it. So it's quite impressive. I'll be able to show you a little bit about that in a video later. We're really proud of our architecture. Like I said, it's a really beautiful campus, and broken down into 3 colleges. So again, the first one is Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. So there's the list. I'm not going to read them out, but you can see some of the more popular ones like business, journalism, media and culture, law and politics. One thing worth pointing out here about modern languages is that we do have a system at Cardiff University called Languages for All. So no matter what program you're studying, so you could be studying archaeology, you could be studying optometry, music, physics, law, you can take a second language or even a third language if you wish. So we offer French, German, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, Arabic, Mandarin Chinese, Japanese, which is what I took, or Welsh. So there's so many different languages that you can choose from, and they can really enhance your degree. You'll be surprised. Employers really like to see this. And it does open up avenues for you to go and live and work. So I took intermediate or advanced French and beginners Japanese, and I only took beginners Japanese just for fun, and I enjoyed it so much and did so well that I went and ended up living and working in Japan for 12 years. So you can do this. It's entirely possible. That's the same for all programs, so including the College of Biomedical and Life Sciences. Obviously, we've got one of the largest medical schools in the UK. We've got the largest teaching hospital in the country at the Heath, where we take on lots of medics every year. Dentistry, biosciences, optometry, pharmacy, psychology, all of the programs that you'd expect within biomedical and life sciences. This school's very well known for its research as well. Sorry, this college. And we do have a couple of Nobel Prize winners here in things like stem cell research and medicinal chemistry, which is great. And then last but not least, we have the College of Physical Sciences and Engineering. Some of the golden ticket programs here are obviously engineering, architecture, computer science and data science, things like that, mathematics, and my personal favorite, physics and astronomy. Very powerful in these areas, and they're doing some really, really interesting research. Just a name drop, one of the research projects that has been undertaken recently within the School of Physics and Astronomy. We undertook a project with MIT, one of the top universities in the world, and we think we may have found evidence of life within the clouds of Venus, microbial life, but nonetheless life, and that's due to elements that they think they've identified of phosphine. So the production of phosphine is only ordinarily produced by organic matter. So yeah, let's see what happens in the next couple of years. Who knows, maybe even another Nobel Prize may be flying our way in the field of physics. Right, some of the important stuff then. So entry requirements. If you are currently looking at studying an undergraduate program here at Cardiff, so if you're in high school, for example, we generally require A-levels or IB diploma. We wouldn't accept the national high school certificate. But if you are looking perhaps to join us after studying a year or more at a university in Bangladesh, then we can of course consider your transcripts on a case-by-case basis. But if you are studying A-levels, our entry requirements generally around the 3 A's to 3 B's marks, depending on which program it is. There's 1 or 2 programs that are just a little bit higher than 3 A's, but for the majority, yeah, it would be sort of 2 A's and a B, or an A and 2 B's, somewhere around those lines. All right. And for postgraduate study, you'd be looking at CGPAs, as you would see on the screen. So we've got a tiering list of universities that we work with. It's a list of about 10 or 12 universities in Bangladesh, where the general entry requirements are anywhere between 3 and 3.2 CGPA. if we if your grades are a little bit lower, don't worry, do get in touch, because there is an element of flexibility there, and so do get in touch with us if your grades don't seem to quite match, because there is a little bit of flexibility there. All right. So fees and scholarships, I'm just giving you an idea of some of the master's programs there that are quite popular that we offered in January. But one of the great things about coming to us from Bangladesh is that we offer, for postgraduate students, the Vice-Chancellor's International Scholarship of £10,000. So those fees you see above there for some of those master's programs would be reduced significantly by £10,000. All right, so that's for postgraduate students. Undergraduate students also can apply for scholarships. These are also very generous, up to 50%. But these are not automatic scholarships like the postgraduate scholarships. You need to apply for them, and there are deadlines, and you need to submit an extra essay for us, because it's not just merit-based. We also take into consideration personal circumstances, career motivations, and there's also a research question in there as well related to the UN's sustainability goals. So, but if you're applying for a master's program, just to repeat, it's very straightforward. And for most programs, it's just an automatic £10,000 tuition reduction if you're applying from Bangladesh. So that's really good news. All right. But do see our website for any kind of further information there. And of course, I can answer any questions at the end related to that. We look after our students. So when you look at the kind of NSS ratings, and when you ask any Cardiff University students, they are very happy with their time here. We offer a range of academic support. We support students from when they arrive as well. So we offer a free airport coach collection from the airport, usually from Heathrow Airport. So we'll take you down in the bus, get you settled in, and there's lots of support. And we guarantee accommodation for international students. So you don't have to worry about trying to find a place to stay, provided you've applied and everything is in time and online. You've applied to all the deadlines, then you wouldn't have a place. You wouldn't have a problem having a place with us in accommodation. We've got, I think, 17 different accommodation campuses. Some are undergraduate, some are postgraduate focused. And I'll talk a little bit about the different options in a moment. But we offer a range of different advice, and there are no silly questions. So you can always reach out to us to ask us about your offer, any visa advice, anything to do with accommodation, any extra welfare needs you may have. If you've got any disabilities, or you think you may need any extra support, you just need to reach out to us, and we can clearly outline what we're able to offer, which is usually quite a lot. Cardiff is actually one of the more affordable cities in the UK. So we're consistently ranked as one of the top affordable cities by the NatWest Student Index. So that really tends to mean that the cost of living is quite low, but the standard of living is really high. We're really helped by the fact that we're not a huge city like London or Birmingham or Manchester, where it's so large that you need to take public transport everywhere, perhaps sometimes even between different campuses and classrooms. In Cardiff, everything is commutable on foot, so you can walk around, and there's lots of shortcuts through lovely green parks and different parts of the university. So it tends to be a much more affordable city, even though we're a major capital city and one of Europe's youngest capital cities. All right. We have a range of different options for working while you're at the university. Obviously, being a capital city, there's lots of opportunity to work either on campus, because we've got 34,000 students who need looking after. And then also we're on the doorstep of a major capital city. So there's lots of job opportunities in hotels, restaurants, event centers, stadiums, theaters, things like that. So our students don't have any problem trying to find employment. And students, as you may be aware, can work up to 20 hours a week during term time, and as long as you like in the holidays. So at the Christmas break, for example, our students may decide to stay and work and earn some extra cash to help them through next semester. So accommodation, like I said, we've got 17 different accommodation campuses. They're generally anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes walk from all of our buildings. When you choose your accommodation, you basically make a list of priorities, and we try and match you to your best accommodation that we can. It's not always guaranteed, but we're likely going to be able to get you one of the accommodations that one of your top choices. All right. They're all, for the majority, they're very safe, very green. They're all very close to the university. You'll have things like residence life assistance. Obviously, there's 24-hour security available. And some of the accommodation have things like sports facilities, gyms. And it's really up to you which you choose. There's quite a comprehensive amount of information on our website. So you can either be in, if, for example, you like to play sports, you might want to be in Talabont, where they've got the big sports village and the big Tesco's. If you want to be close to the city centre, you might choose Senghenith Court or something like that. So there's lots of different options and lots of reviews online, so you can jump onto our website, even speak to our students who can give you their honest opinions of the pros and cons of choosing different accommodations. Right. One of my favorite things to talk about is actually the city of Cardiff itself. So, like I said, we are a capital city. It's about 500,000 people. And the way I describe it is really the Goldilocks city. It's just right. It's not too big, not too small. There's a lot going on. And I'm not from Cardiff originally. I grew up in the relative countryside, about 2 hours away from here. And I've lived all over. I've lived in Bristol. I've obviously lived in Cardiff, lived in London, lived in Paris. I've lived in Japan. I've stayed for short periods in sort of Australia and the US. And really, for me, Cardiff is the Goldilocks city. It's just right. So it's got everything that you'd want in a global capital city, but in a really safe, green, clean environment. What I'll do is I'll try, if it works, or it might, maybe perhaps Rouham might need to play this for me. If not, what I'll do is I can send a link and we can forward that again. This might not play, actually.
We can try it. If not, we will share it within the comments.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be loading. So we'll just go to the next. That's fine.
Okay.
No problem. I'll talk through it. I'm sure I'll be equally as inspirational as the video. So that's where we are. You can see a map of the UK. So Cardiff is about an hour and 40 minutes from London on the train. It's a direct train. You go from Cardiff Central to a very famous station that you may know from the Bear, to Paddington. So it goes from Cardiff Central to London Paddington. The train goes about every 30 minutes during the daytime, and it takes about an hour and 40 minutes. So we're not far at all from London. We're about an hour and a half from Birmingham, maybe just under an hour from Bristol. And we also have our own international airport there as well. So we've got excellent infrastructure to be able to get to us. We have been voted the best and friendliest city in the UK. It sounds like a made-up quote, but it's actually by Condé Nast, who are a big travel company who own Vogue, actually. So voted the best and friendliest city in the UK. And I really want to emphasize that, in that Cardiff is a really friendly place. So when you go to some other larger cities in the world, your likes of your Londons, your New Yorks, your Paris, if you're out and about in the city or on the underground, if someone starts to talk to you or you talk to them, they tend to move away and kind of run the other way. In Cardiff, not at all. So it's a really open, friendly city, and you'll be approached and strike up conversations with people from all walks of life. It's a really multicultural, really friendly, really opening place to be a student. Like it says on here, we've got lots of different nationalities and cultures in the city, 94 languages spoken across the city, lots of different cultural and religious facilities and places of worship, loads of different types of cuisine. So restaurants, supermarkets, food festivals from all over the world, which is great. So if you're really missing a good, I don't know, biryani or a buna or something, you can get a good one here. So not to worry. So there's a small and friendly population, and about 1/5 of the city is actually made up of students. So we've got 4 universities in Cardiff. We've got Cardiff Uni, Cardiff Met, USW, Royal Welsh College, and lots of other colleges. So it's very well known for education. We've got some of the best high schools in the whole of the UK. I think 2 or 3 of the top 10 in terms of A-level results are based in Cardiff. And we've got the original IB school as well. The International Baccalaureate was started at Atlantic College just up the road. So it's a place of education, one of the safest, greenest, and most affordable cities in the UK. It's really green. We've got over 330 parks, gardens and green spaces. So if you like to get out and about and have a picnic, sadly, we don't have the same great weather that you do in Bangladesh. So it does rain quite a bit, but what that does mean that we do have a lot. It's very verdant, it's very green, it's very lush. So when the sun does shine, it really is absolutely wonderful. And if you like to play sports or throw a frisbee or particularly play cricket like me, everyone is out in the gardens and parks playing around when the sun comes out. It's very much a cycling city as well, because we've got dedicated cycle lanes all throughout the city centre, which is pedestrianised. So there is no traffic, no cars, no honking, no pollution. There are no cars. City centre is pedestrianised, and we use public transport around it. All right. So it's very different. It'd be a very different environment, particularly if you're coming from Dhaka.
Right. And which means that, students can just get on their cycle, go everywhere that they need to without needing to, take a taxi or anything like that. But everything is within, and it saves money as well.
Oh, massively. Yeah. I mean, I never take my car. The only reason I ever use the car is if I'm driving back to my hometown, which is about 2 hours away, to see my family. If I'm going anywhere in the city, yeah. So that's what I do. So yeah, so I pretty much covered most of it. One of the only other things I want to mention is a really busy, thriving city. So in the last 18 months, we've had Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Ed Sheeran, Harry Styles, Coldplay. We've got Lana Del Rey coming. We've had the UEFA Cup final. So big events come to Cardiff. So you won't.
And of course, when you have these big events, there's a lot of people. It brings a lot of people, and for international students, it also might mean opportunities for part-time jobs as well.
Yeah, exactly. And our students' union is ranked number 2 in the UK out of all 160, 170 universities. We spend a lot of money and we support our students with their clubs, societies, and sports. So they're really, really active. So if you want to, whatever you're interested in, we'll almost certainly have a club or society that suits you. So that's kind of the general gist of the university. I don't know if there are any questions, Rouham, or anything.
There's actually quite a few questions, so I'll get to that. Listen, I mean, so what we have established is Cardiff University, a Russell Group University, located in an amazing, beautiful city, 2 hours from London. I don't know why anybody would use that I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's 2 hours or not, because it itself independently is a great city to live in, with lots of parks, greeneries, and green spaces for students to enjoy. Um, the tuition fee is quite reasonable compared to other Russell Group universities, but more importantly, there are £10,000 scholarships available for Bangladeshi students who are going to postgraduate. The other thing that I found really interesting with Cardiff is their law school, which has their own BTC, bar training course program. I know there's a lot of students who are interested, who go to UK for getting the law degree, LLB, which then leads to a bar training course. So Cardiff has its own. So you can study in a Russell Group university and still have the opportunity to progress into BTC if you meet the requirements. So that's an amazing thing. And top 5 and top 10 in at least 20-25 different subjects. So that's a great stat to remember as well. Did I get that, David? Maybe.
Absolutely,
Most of
yeah. The only other thing I'd like to, yeah, our law school is very powerful. Obviously, we're the only Russell Group university that offers the full legal education, and we're also really lucky because we're right next to a Crown Court, the highest court in the country. So you can come out of your lectures and sit in the gallery and watch barristers pitting it out against each other in some of the most serious
Wow.
cases and the highest cases in the country. You'll have every right to sit in there with them.
So, question. Do students need to take UCAT to study medicine, and will they get interviewed for an entry to medicine?
Correct. Yeah, you will need a UCAT. There's no minimum score. We take top to bottom. If students get past the multiple mini interview stage, so there are interviews. In fact, there are 8 or 9 interviews that students will have to take for medicine. It's very competitive. We have about 1,000 applications for 24 international spaces every year. The cohort is actually around 300, but we're capped by just for medicine and dentistry in terms of how many we can take because of our relationship with the National Health Service.
That's 2.5%, guys. So you have to be a superstar if you want to get into a Cardiff, and rightfully so. It is one of the best law programs, but still, 25 spaces is a lot. I was talking to another university the other day; they only had 5. So
yeah. So just to be clear, that's not law; that's medicine. And it's only medicine. For other programs, the entry, your success rate or the acceptance rate, as it's always said, would be much, much higher. So don't concern yourself or compare it to medicine, which is very, very different.
And also, if you study, for example, if you're not successful in getting into the medicine program, you can always do something like biological sciences, or there are so many other affiliated medicine routes, and then you can go and maybe try your luck at a graduate entry medicine program or something like that, right? You do have that as well, Dave?
Yeah, what I would say is this: medicine is a really horrible degree, and not particularly. People do romanticize medicine quite a lot, but when they do come to us, because our program is a case-based program, students are in the hospital in the first year, in the first semester, dealing with some very seriously ill people, sometimes very tragic cases, and dealing with death. And it's very long hours, very stressful, where you can be doing equally as important work, like things that Rouham said within biomedical and life sciences, medical toxicology, pharmacy, physio. There's lots of other different areas that you could go into that are, to be honest with you, comparatively similar in terms of prestige and wages, but maybe not quite so stressful or difficult to get into. So you don't necessarily have to make things difficult for yourself.
Right,
there are lots
exactly.
of other really good programs. Yeah.
And also quite expensive as well. You have to have a very deep pocket. Can postgraduate students get in on-campus job as well?
They can, yeah, absolutely.
I think
In
you
fact, most of them
mentioned
do.
that.
Yeah.
Are there any work placement or internship opportunities included in the bachelor's program?
Yes. So in the bachelor's, there are always work placement, study abroad, PPY, we call them professional placement year. So anywhere from a short placement, if that's what you wish, all the way up to, for most programs, a full year. All right. So it's like, we call it a sandwich year, and it's offered between your second and third year in most cases. There are some students who do things like integrated masters where that might change. But for most students, yeah, it's very common, particularly if you're doing things like business, engineering, computer science, even journalism, lots of those subjects that are very sort of career focused, career driven. You can even do it for law. So yeah, and it's a really good way of enhancing your CV. It increases your employability chances. And a bit of a fact for you, students who do a study abroad year or a professional placement year get higher grades in their classification overall. And it's also, that's the same for students who do part-time work. Students who do part-time work tend to get slightly higher grades. So work that one out.
That's awesome. Which actually means that students are more involved within their degree, and I think that experience kind of makes their degree much more meaningful. I guess that's what it is. Now, the next person asked, how many students will get the £10,000 scholarship for masters from Bangladesh? And is CGPA the deciding factor for getting the scholarship, or someone with relatively less GPA but with more ECA and work experience can get it as well?
Okay, so there is no cap on the number of scholarships we offer to Bangladeshi students, provided your program, which most are, is included in the scholarship scheme, and that you meet the entry requirements of your course. So yes, your CGPA will be the deciding factor in that one, provided you meet the entry requirements. So that's anywhere from usually a CGPA of 3 or higher, then you would receive the £10,000 scholarship. So good news, no cap. If all of you achieve those grades on the programs that are eligible, you would receive it.
Awesome. Is LNAT required for an entry to the LLB program?
It is not.
Okay, great. Final question, at least that I can see from here. I got the offer today from Cardiff. My CGPA is dash. Will I get the 10,000 GBP scholarship?
I'm not going to go into individual cases, but you can certainly contact me directly. And I'll put the email address in the chat now that you can message. Or you can also do that through our...
I'll address that. Mahbub, why don't you do this? Get in touch with your counselor at Maces. She will get in touch with Dave, and we will get you a answer straight away so that you can accept your offer. It should be okay, but we will get you the answer very quickly.
You can actually just, it's also very easy for you to identify this. So if you, just a little bit of a hint, if you go onto our website, onto the course finder page, which is the course that you've applied for, if you scroll across to entry requirements, there's a drop down for Bangladesh. If you've met the requirement that it says, then you will be awarded the scholarship, provided it's included in the scheme. But yeah.
Best of luck, Abrar. And yeah, get in touch with your counselor. She'll get you the answer straight away. If you could elaborate on what kind of in-campus jobs would be available for the students.
Yeah, absolutely. So the job shop, like I said, offers jobs both within the university and outside the university. Within the university, the majority of jobs are based in kind of the service industry. So they would be things like working in our libraries, working in perhaps the computer labs, working potentially in the students' union. There are a number of shops. Each school generally has a cafeteria in it as well. Some students get jobs. We employ many students as student ambassadors. So you would be advising usually younger students or undergraduate students on kind of day-to-day matters. We also have residence life assistants. And then we also offer a range of opportunities within the city. So many of the big employers come to us, particularly the stadium, which holds about 80,000 people, different theatres, cinemas, and they offer jobs to our students through our student services, through the job shop. So the world's your oyster. You've got lots of different options.
Thank you so much, Dave, for that answer. So, yeah, Ajmer, I think maybe you got the answer you're looking for. There are opportunities available. You just have to go out there, seek the help that you need, and also, apply. Just go to the different, the library, the event centers, the international office, and just go and apply and look out. If you're personable, you have a smiling face. You definitely, I think, will be in favor of whoever is in charge giving out those jobs. We usually like to do this within 30 to 40 minutes. We've already run over time, but I think the information was very, very helpful. Another question came in as we were speaking. Do you have research-based masters? And if there is any, do you require research proposal while placing the application?
We do. It depends on the level of research, whether it's guided research or independent research, depending on the subject area. All right. So, for example, a lot of the sciences have many pure research-based options, but many of our master's programs are de facto research-based because you will have to do a dissertation. So at least between 1/3 and 1/2 of most master's programs will have a research element attached to it. Remember, we are a research-focused university. We're part of the Russell Group. So research plays a big part in particularly our level 7 or master's programs. But yes, and if your primary motivation is to go on and become a researcher or to do a PhD, then yeah, we'll be able to offer you a range of programs in all of those subjects I mentioned to allow you to do high-level research and perhaps publish in some very high-level, well-renowned journals.
Awesome. David, thank you so much for your time. I think it was very, very helpful. Guys, if you're interested in applying to Cardiff University, please get in touch with us. You can call us at 017-556-60012. You can email us at mail@macesbd.com. Our website is www.macesbd.com, macesbd.com. And you can also reach out to us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/macesbd. That's a lot of information. Thank you so much for listening. Is there any interview session for a student after getting CAS? We keep getting the questions. And the answer is no. As long as you meet the requirement, you pay the deposit, you should be able to get the CAS. Remember, this is a Russell Group university. It's already difficult to get in. So we understand that students who are applying to these universities are usually more serious. So no, to answer your question, Shruti. Again, thank you very much, Day. And, hopefully we'll see you in Bangladesh very soon.